Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of December 27th, 2023. I think I'm the only one in a weird place because I am sitting on my parents' patio at what I'm going to call our Southern Command Center. I am as near to the border as, not as near as you can get because I'm about 3 miles away at this point. So it's not completely, as far from the border as possible, but close to the border as possible, but it's pretty close. And yeah, I've been chilling down here with my parents. I got to see the world's largest killer bee the other day. That was fun. A lot of people said it looked like a pig they dressed up to be a killer bee, which that was hurtful. I'm just saying. It's something, a bit of pride for our local area because, fun fact, South Texas was the first place that killer bees came to the United States back in the 90s. And so we built a statue to celebrate it.
I remember those like sensationalized news reports growing up.
Yeah.
Killer bees.
Killer bees, acid rain, quicksand.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, God, so much quicksand growing up.
I was basically sure that as a child, if I could survive quicksand and killer bees, I was set for life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've all had our holiday fun, but now it's time to get back to business. It's been so long since I've seen you guys. I realized that I didn't record last time too. It's been so long since I talked to you, so I'm just happy to see everyone. With me tonight, I've got Commish, Pitt Girl, Corn correspondent Andrew, Arthur on the ones and twos, and we're going to have some special guests come in and out. The first thing I want to do is say thank you to every sicko out there who's given to our charity drive for the Community Crisis Center in Iowa City. As of tonight, we've hit over $15,000, which is like 3 times what we raised last time, which is incredible. In fact, we had just had another.
I think we hit. So last time, I think we stopped at around 5,500. So our goal.
Are you gonna actually be on this? Really?
Yes, I want to be. Accurate.
Technically correct is the best kind of.
That's what we reply to everybody. We want to be technically correct.
That's right.
Even though we're sickos, we want to be technically correct. So I think we had just surpassed 5,500 last year because that was the most offensive yardage that a Kirk Ferentz Iowa team had produced during his time in Iowa. So it was a little bit over 5,500, and our goal really is the 16,600. If you really times that by 3, that's the points per game for Iowa. So it kind of worked out magically that way. We are getting there, and I want to give a shout out to I believe it is Mrs. Winter, that is the incredible kind person that is leading us, set up the link and everything like that, did the interview with the local news that I still haven't watched because I'm very paranoid on how I came across on that one.
Oh my God.
I saw
it was great. It was great. It was wonderful.
I'm sure. Whatever. I'll watch it eventually when I have time because it's been a rough holiday. Yeah. But we sent her a big bag of like swag, and so that'll get there on like the 30th. So we just sent them some swag, and she was very appreciative for it. And with some political thing that has taken place in the state of Iowa, where they're not funding, certain stuff when school is out. I don't want to do that. This is going to help tremendously. Like I don't want to get too in the weeds with that, but this food drive is really going to help tremendously. I mean, we're just trying to do something good, but now, it's really has a huge potential for impact due to, I guess, some policy changes by the governor of Iowa. So thank you everybody to donate. I want to give you an update on the mailing with the ultra thick koozies that I've been sending to some of you guys, to you folks, to you ladies, to the thick koozies. I just got another batch of like 40 rejected because they were too thick, and rejected by the envelope sorter. So I had to send more. If you see like your koozie arrive with like 4 different stamps on it of different values, that's what has happened. I have mailed out, I think, about 90 of the 160 some odd things I need to mail out. So I'm over halfway there. So please be patient. And again, thank you so much for the donations. It's going to go through the Citrus Bowl, and we're going to keep giving out koozies. If I run out of koozies, I don't think I will. We'll move on to like some random stickers that, I like punts and I like big punts and I cannot lie.
Love it. This has been
some more stuff like that.
This has been great. Everyone stepped up so much. We've had so much support from the entire community. I can't begin to thank you guys enough for listening and donating and supporting this work we do, because it is, like Commish said, very important work this time of year, especially. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's start with, let's start with Beth. Beth today was a friend of Tubby, which is now someone suggested, I think I said it was like a cult suggestion, like a handshake for a cult. Someone on our timeline suggested it sounded like a way to identify yourself as a swinger in Tulsa. But either way.
I thought this was kind of like how at the Disney parks, you are not acting as a character, you are a friend with the character.
Yes, exactly. So
is Beth actually Tubby?
Yeah, Beth, tell us about how the Deadly Bowl went and how you are a friend of Tubby.
So it was a tremendous amount of fun to go to the game today. We got into town this morning right around noon and just sort of milled around outside the stadium. They were awesome. They let us park so close to the stadium. When they came in and they gave us the media passes, so I checked in and all my pass says is press box access, friend of Tubby.
I love it. I love
it. Which is the only title I'm ever going to need for the rest of my life. I've reached the pinnacle of my time on Earth, and I'm just happy that we could all be a part of it together. I think we are all friends of Tubby in this terrifying cult that we have made.
Yes.
Oh, it was a delight. My favorite part of today was when I was up in the press box. And one of the guys and a few of the guys from Lee wanted to come and talk to me, which was wonderful, and I'm eternally grateful. And there was a guy who kind of looked like Warren Sapp sitting in front of me, who walked in front of me a few times and just kept staring at my hat, and he just walks off.
Beautiful.
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
I'm crying laughing. People are like, does that happen? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm new here. Sure. It was fantastic. And I got to sing country roads with
Tubby.
30, 40,000 of my new favorite friends and Tubby. So the thing with Tubby is Tubby never left the field. Tubby was on field for the entire game.
Oh man!
And the friend of Tubby pass is the one and only press badge that does not allow you to go onto the field. So while you are a friend of Tubby, you may not access Tubby at any point. I was trying to work with Lucy Roden to see if I could get access to Tubby, but I was unable to do so. So I had to be friends from afar. So it's more like pen pal of Tubby.
I like that.
Acquaintance of Tubby.
Yeah,
Twitter mutual of Tubby.
It's very much like, so Weird Al Yankovic had a campaign, an advertising campaign that he did in the late 90s and early 2000s, where he sold hats by the thousands that said close personal friend of Al. It was kind of like that. But yes, it was wonderful, and I will be friends with Tubby forever. The Mayo Bowl is tremendous fun. They are the bowl game that gets it the most. They played games the whole time with, like eating competitions and people having to make horrifying mayo drinks. I was too scared to try the soft serve, which was unlimited in the press box.
I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, it seemed super dangerous. And while I did bring 2 EpiPens, I really didn't want to go to the hospital tonight. But everyone was super cool. It was wonderful. We got to see a really fun game. North Carolina faded down the stretch, but it was fighty and it was fun, and there were lots of big plays. And obviously, as a West Virginia fan, I'm thrilled. What was really funny was when I talked to the representative from the Mayo Bowl who came up to talk to me, one of the first things he assured me of, he's like, "Oh, we will be playing Sweet Caroline tonight. It will happen. Don't worry." He's like, and he said some things that I thought were really cool. One of the things he said to me is that, like, he referred to it as our sport, which kind of like that. I kind of touched my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's like the danger with our sport is that it could turn into a 2-team sport. And they view themselves as at the Mayo Bowl as very much like some of the protectors away from that happening. By keeping minor bowl games relevant and interesting and fun and silly, we continue to allow this sport to be much more than just who made the playoff, who didn't make the playoff. And I thought they did a really beautiful, fun job of that. They poked fun at everything, including themselves, all night. And it was a tremendously good time. If you are in the Charlotte area during the Duke's Mayo Bowl, you absolutely should go. This game was a banger. It was really fun.
Love it. Beth, I'm so glad you got to go. I will let you get back to your fun where you are at. Enjoy it. Sing country roads.
Thanks. I'm going to go back across the street and yell.
Sounds good. Thank you, Beth. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you, Beth. Bye.
So we got Beth at the Mayo Bowl. And then also we have Katie on here. Katie, you're going to the Pop-Tarts and Citrus Bowl, I believe.
Correct, I am.
And you would like to talk about some tasting menus you had today.
Yes. So the Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Citrus Bowl had a tasting event today for special menu items that will be available for purchase in the stadium tomorrow and on Monday. I didn't ask if all the Cheez-It items will be available tomorrow, because tomorrow's the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Right.
Or if like only the Pop-Tart Bowl, which I'm very curious about, because there was a Bloody Mary made with like Cheez-It rimmed crust.
Ooh.
And I was very interested in this, and they didn't have it today. So I will have it either tomorrow or on Monday. But yes, it was really, really fun, guys. They had Cheez-It nachos that had mac and cheese on top. My favorite thing was a Cheez-It chili cheese dog that had crumbled up Cheez-Its on top of it. I will be buying one of those for sure at the stadium.
Yeah, you sending that menu listing. Oh my god.
It looks so good.
It's so good. It was honestly really good. The Pop-Tarts had a banana pudding with cinnamon roll Pop-Tarts in it, which was also heavenly. It was the little like Pop-Tart bites.
The little minis. Yeah, I've seen those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was also an ice cream sundae type situation that had like strawberry and strawberry Pop-Tarts in it. Also heavenly. Yeah, I was actually really impressed. It was really, really good. Go ahead.
I was expecting like, when you first mentioned the menu, I didn't look at it. And I was expecting like weird avant-garde Pop-Tart amuse-bouche or canapes. Like, oh yes, we've put mousse, we put a little potato mousse and caviar on top of this brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart bite.
I would have enjoyed that too,
right?
Actually.
This was funny.
Yes.
So like as the commission, I was like, we have committee members all over the country, and so I was like, okay, Katie's in Orlando. She said she's gonna go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Cheez-It Bowl anyway. So I was like, let me just take a shot and request some credentials for Katie and her friend Melanie, since they both were gonna go. And I was like, I mean, the worst they can do is say no. So I was like, okay, whatever. The worst they can do is say no. And doing this is just strange. You get an email back from like the head of the bowl. Mm-hmm. And this person was named Sam. I'm not going to give away his last name, but Sam replies back to me to the committee's, Gmail account and goes, so, what are you planning on doing at the bowl? Like all ominous. And I'm like, well, two of our committee members live in the Orlando area. They were already going to be at the bowl game. Really, they don't necessarily need press box access. I just see if there's any way we can get them on the field after the game to get close to the trophy. And then the person, Sam replied back, was like, yeah, we definitely can do that. Would they be interested in going to like a tasting menu? And I'm like, this is like really right up Katie's alley. And I was like, yes, please. So we had to coordinate the email addresses and I had to upload like actual photos of Katie and Melanie. So I have them saved on my computer, like their LinkedIn photos to like get them on credentials for this game. Cause this is kind of like, okay, this is not your 1 year fly by night sponsor for like a bowl game. This is like a bowl game that has been around for, you're looking at about 20, 30 years. Maybe some sponsors have changed, but like, it's like a pillar of bowl season. Yeah. So I'm terrified doing stuff like this. And I got them in to go to this tasting, and
That's so good.
it was incredible that we got access to something like this. So I feel like what the Mayo Bowl, what Beth was saying earlier, is I kind of like what they said. Like, we are the pillars that are upholding bowl season, and to not let the just playoff talk just go out of control, and which it's going to get even bigger because the playoff is going to get bigger next year. And so we as a committee, we must fight against the playoff dominating the talk. We must.
That all being said, the first time
Yes.
we get a chance to go to the Rose Bowl's media, I'm going to lose my mind. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear, when the Rose Bowl lets us in.
You think the Rose Bowl is going to let us do that? I don't think they ever
One
will.
day. One day.
Now watch, they're going to reach out to us. They'll invite us there.
They're going to put us on a float in the parade.
See, I'm just envisioning like the entire Rose Bowl committee getting the like credential application from us and having about the same reaction as that one guy in the press box, Duke's Mayo Bowl thing.
Or they're just going to say,
I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
You guys, on my credential, I sent Commish my actual like professional headshot, but I also sent him this one, and I was like, "Do you want to use this?"
the
He was like, "Absolutely not."
I was like, "No, we kind of got to be serious here in this part." But the rest of the time you're there,
it's so good.
Let's just do that.
I did get to see the trophy today, and it was so good. It was so good that like I kind of almost squealed when I saw it.
Were you able to determine? Are there heating elements in the toaster slots? No?
There's not. Sadly, there's not, which is very sad.
Still a good Pop-Tart holder.
Oh yeah,
it is. I agree.
Did you see the Dave Doran quote today?
Yes.
Let me find it.
That man and I are kindred spirits.
Oh hell yeah!
You guys, do I need to like?
Let me find the
get
exact
a flask
quote
and offer him a shot.
I mean,
yes.
This might.
I mean, the Pop-Tart troll is supposed to be bringing him a shot anyway.
Pop-Tarts has probably got some fine whiskey in the stadium, for
true.
Dave. But he's got to win first.
Oh, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to where are my Pop-Tart cocktails? Where are my?
Can you ferment Pop-Tarts?
You can ferment anything, I guess.
I mean, they have a lot of sugar in them.
So you could make rum with
the
them
Swedes.
if they
They
have that
ferment
much
everything.
sugar, right?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could make
Pop-Tart
jail wine. Yeah, I say jail wine. Yeah, Pruno.
This is gone a very dark place. The Pop-Tart Bowl is going to be like, "You're never coming back." We talked about toilet wine along with our name. Also, I do want to be very clear that I'm dressing as a Pop-Tart tomorrow because why not? This is to Commish's point. This game and Monday's game is giving me joy in the off season because the Florida State. I don't even know if I can watch that game, but yes, this is giving me
especially now that Florida State's losing. I mean, I don't know who's even playing for Florida State at this point because it just happens.
It might be you.
Yeah, I think Katie's going to be playing.
Katie may be playing. I had to explain to my mother about the transfer portal and why they're going now because there's like a window for it. And so that she was less angry at all of our players, and she understands now. But I don't want to have these conversations anymore. So yes, this is why I'm going to the Pop-Tart Bowl dressed as a Pop-Tart.
I never thought about
that.
I
will be on the field dressed as a Pop-Tart with our credentials on.
Hopefully they don't confuse you for the edible mascot.
I'm really, really excited about that. I will send so many pictures. Don't worry.
Do it.
The rumor is that it's going to be a frosted strawberry Pop-Tart.
Well, I mean,
I saw that.
Frosted strawberry, I'm saying.
But that's a rumor. But you would think that is a rumor. It's weird if we got inside reporting of the flavor of the Pop-Tart, which, I mean, I feel like they're playing it safe.
That is one of the most popular. I agree.
Here's the Dave Doran quote. They asked him, "What do you think of the trophy?" Dave Doran says, "Beautiful, man." This is NC State head coach Dave Doran. "Beautiful, man. Look forward to seeing that thing at the end of the game. It's really nice. I'm still wondering where the shot of bourbon on that thing goes, though." Question. It's 9 a.m. So Dave Doran's response: "Can't drink all day if you don't start drinking in the morning, right?"
I say that every time I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point, Dave. Fair point.
It's funny to me how fixated he is on this shot of bourbon. Like, it was one thing when he brought it up as like kind of an off the cuff remark like a week ago. Like, he's still on this.
He's
Yeah.
committed
I
to
don't
the
blame
bit.
him.
Yes. Okay, Katie, thank you so much. Enjoy your bowls, and we will see
I will.
you. We'll get an update from
Sounds
you.
good. Bye, guys. All right,
Good night.
I'll be sending lots of updates.
Send a
Bye.
Please do.
lot of photos. That's update. Enjoy the Pop Tarts and Cheez It fun.
I will.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
So since I introduced you guys, but didn't give you a chance to say anything about how your holidays have been going. Pitt Girl, how's your holidays?
They are good. I also have updates from the Military Bowl, if you would like.
Oh yes,
Or we can
let's
go
do that
around
right
and
now.
let
Sure.
everybody else know how they are. Yes. So
Yeah, fuck it. Go Military Bowl.
I was on the ground at the Military Bowl today. It was moist, as is tradition at the Military Bowl. But it was a good time.
Are you dry yet, or are you still damp?
My hair is still damp, but only because I was damp and cold, and so immediately got home and was like, I would rather be damp and warm, and took a shower.
Hot shower. Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So yes, it was quite damp at the Military Bowl, but it is pretty much every year. Very enjoyable. Lots of fumbles. I have not had a chance to go back and look at the box score, but so many fumbles. All of the fumbles. Tulane opened the game with a scoop and score. It was delightful. There was bowling at the Go Bowling Military Bowl. Both the bowling pin car out at the official tailgate area thing, which was very cool to see, but also they set it up in the end zone sometime in the first half of the game where they had somebody come out on the field and bowl, and he bowled a strike and he won $1,000 or something. So that was pretty cool.
Ooh, fun. I did notice, by the way, that bowling pin car that was so wonderful that got you. A lot of our fans noticed it looked like another famous car as well. It looked like the car from the classic cartoon, Saturday Night Live cartoon, Ambiguously Gay Duo.
Ace and Gary
Because
were there?
Yeah, because it looked like a giant. It looked like a giant dick.
I was not watching SNL back then.
Neither was
So
I.
I did not get that reference.
Here, let me.
The
I'll post a picture in the
Ambiguously
chat.
Gay Duo.
Do you know who did the voices of those guys?
Stephen
That
Colbert
was-
and Steve Carell, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
In their previous life, yes.
Yes.
Let me find the car.
I
But
gotta
yeah,
assume that the car was just left over from Watkins Glen. Like they just took that, packed it up, brought it out. Like, well, we got another place we can put this out.
Yeah.
I would.
I wonder, does it actually run, or is it just completely for show and you just have to push it?
Somebody replied in our mentions with a picture of people driving it, so I assume so. It was very much not running while I was there, but it was also, it has no top, and it was, at that point in time, it was just sort of drizzling, which was fine. I would have been happy with that level of rain all day, but in the second half, the sky really opened up, and I had to take my emergency poncho out and put it over top of my normal rain jacket, which was fun. But yeah, I assume it runs. I should have asked the folks manning the booth with the pin car, but I did not. So that's on me. I have failed at journalism.
to
I am
what
also-
we do as journalism is a big stretch, but yes, sure.
Journalism, heavy air
yes.
quotes.
Mhm.
I also got to meet CFB Campus Tour, and then everybody got to see him on ESPN with an obstructed view because of the rain, which is exactly right.
Living
He's
up to the
delightful.
brand. Nice.
That was his 88th game, I believe, this year.
Thought it was 84.
Something like that. It was a
He's
lot.
I think he's going for 90 this year.
That's what they said on TV. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going for 90.
I really love that it was so rainy when they took the picture of him that his picture on TV wasn't an obstructed view. Because he's known, which not everybody in the podcast knows this, but he goes to every stadium and he tries to find an obstructed view in every stadium. So him being obstructed when they took a video of him just by rain, it's just very fitting. And I got his obstructed view calendar. It's 12 of his favorite photos of obstructed views in different stadiums. And I looked in the P.O. box and I was like, oh, besides the return envelopes for the thickness, there was an obstructed view calendar. And so I was like, oh, amazing. It's like, you need to pay 40 more cents. And I got the obstructed view calendar.
There we go.
I can't wait. I can't wait until you can do the page a day of obstructed views.
It's going to be awesome.
Yep. How is the mudsliding? I saw a lot of Virginia Tech fans take to the mud hill.
Yes, I did not personally partake, but it looked fun. Unfortunately, the interior of my car is partially white, and also I had a relatively long drive home.
Oh,
and I was not interested in personally being muddy. That is also in part why VT fans rushed the field at the end of the game, which was unexpected, but a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, why not?
And I thought about it, and then I was like, I am not speedy enough to get away from security. And the security person at the bottom of my section was like, don't even think about it. I'm not speedy enough to get away unless it was in a herd, and my section was not really herding to do it. So I observed my very first field rushing instead. But yeah, it looked fun, and it was very much like it was going on before the game even started. Like I was in my seat probably half an hour before kick, and people were doing it. There were people cheering, and I couldn't figure out why, like what was going on, because I was, on Twitter looking around doing stuff. Intermittently people would cheer. I couldn't figure out why. And then I started seeing people going downhill. And then it started raining even harder, and people are like building up speed going down the hill.
It was incredible. It was great TV viewing. I'll say that.
Oh, I bet. I have to go back and watch clips.
I kind of wish they would have just had a hard cam on that, like when they do the multiple broadcasts on one feed. Just have the slide on one side.
Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium.
Hold on. I have to interrupt this.
You have to read this. Please read this.
I have to read this word for word. Okay. So we know West Virginia won the Mayo Bowl this evening, and Beth is celebrating this. She just got this Facebook post, and we got to read this word for word. This is just hot off the Facebook presses. It is from the Episcopal Diocese of West Virginia, and this is what they said on their Facebook. It has come to our attention that during tonight's Duke's Mayo Bowl, in which West Virginia competed and won, sports commentators were seen putting Duke's mayo on pepperoni rolls. Let it be known that putting mayo on pepperoni rolls is an abomination in the eyes of the Lord. Those who perpetrate this heinous act have committed a mortal sin which can only be forgiven by special dispensation from the clergy of West Virginia. Clergy are permitted to withhold absolution until proper contrition is made, either by burning a couch or making a pilgrimage to the Mothman statue. This only applies to those who have put mayo on pepperoni rolls. The use of Miracle Whip is unforgivable.
I got real fast. I got a message from Commish during the game that just said, "It's you tweeting out about mayo farts during the game, isn't it, Jordan?" Yes, it was me.
You're tweeting about how bad the farts will be in the booth.
Yeah, it was going to be awful because they were
whatever, man. We don't have to bring that up. You already tweeted the weird ice cream lady.
I got to tweet my GIF, my favorite GIF, the weird ice cream lady eating her.
I love the replies that Commish was right too.
Yeah.
So. That's right.
Commish is right, but I respect using it once a year.
Once a year, baby.
I mean, the thing I think of that is disturbing with the Mayo Bowl is there's the video I've seen out there of someone setting the world record, like a competitive eater setting the mayo eating world record.
Oh God, no, thank you.
You can just go on YouTube. It's there. Her name, I believe, is Michelle Lesko. If you're looking for that,
I did. 5 pounds.
I will be looking for the opposite of that. Thank you.
5 pounds of mayo in 3 minutes, I believe. Yeah, found it. Great. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So, anything else about the Military Bowl besides it was awesome?
I would recommend it. Thank you to the Military Bowl for the seat. They were not able to credential us, but they did give us a free seat. So thank you very much to the Military Bowl for including us. I had a great time, and maybe I'll be back next year. We'll see.
There we go. So let's go back in time a little bit. And we're going to go back in time to December 21st because we had the Boca Raton Bowl. South Florida 45, Syracuse 0. And my favorite part of this game was watching the Ohio State transfer quarterback. Remind me his name. I can't remember it.
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. Yes.
Honda McCord.
Yes.
Sitting on the sideline with his new team, watching them get blown out 45-0. And I just want to know what was going through his head at that moment. It might have been the Joe Bluth. Oh, I've made a huge mistake. But again, this is all old.
I think
stuff.
it's
this is our boy Nunzio company. There we go. That's what many women have said about me. I can fix him. Same thing. This was our boy Nunzio Compagnie. Nunzio was one of his another interim gigs because he's everyone's interim coach in the Northeast. And yeah, did not go well for Syracuse. 45-0. South Florida looked like an absolute beast machine that night. And it was not a quote unquote fun game, but it was an enjoyable game, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Anyone else on the Boca Raton Bowl?
The Boca Raton Bowl, I remember the coach, Alex Goles, for South Florida. After the game, he said, y'all won that game pretty handily. He's like, yeah, we really whipped their ass. And I was like, I mean, Syracuse was one of the weirdest things of the last month. They just decided, like, hey, we're going to run Wildcat, and we're going to let tight end Dan Villari be our like quarterback, throwing like bubble screens for like the last month of the season. And I don't know, whatever. Syracuse, you got a new coach. I feel like this doesn't really hurt Syracuse because everything is changing. They went 6-6. That's fine. But like, this is huge for South Florida. It's weird. Like these bowl games is like, this is huge for this program. And then the other side is like, hey, they got an interim coach. They're 6-6. They got a new quarterback coming. They got all this new stuff coming. This bowl game doesn't really matter much. That's what it felt like. But
yeah, I mean that would probably explain the result on the field.
You kind of think so, right?
Being honest here.
Yeah.
I mean, also the other thing I'd say is that the Wildcat might be less effective when you have a month to prepare for it. I watched some of this game and I actually turned the game off. You know, I know here we want to like watch everything, but like I actually turned this one off at some point because it was just so uncompetitive, and like it got to the point where I felt bad watching it. Like, okay, this is like we know what's happening here. You know, man. You know, there's all sorts of things happening, and you know, Syracuse is a program in transition, and a program in transition is really not set up to play a bowl game, and they're doing it anyway. And ultimately, I don't know if that's really a good thing or not. But by the way,
speaking of programs in transition, by the way, Oklahoma State 24, Texas A&M 6, as we're recording. Yeah. So speaking of programs,
Texas A&M have like 50 available players or something insane like that right now?
Yeah, and only 3 scholarship wide receivers, and one of them got hurt, I believe, tonight. So yeah. I will say
the quarterback got hurt on the first play.
I will say that Nunzio is being retained by the new staff. Nunzio will still be at Syracuse as QB's coach. So,
okay.
Bella.
Italian hands.
Bella.
Let's do the Italian
Molto
hands.
bene.
Yes.
On to Friday the 22nd, the Gasparilla Bowl. Georgia Tech versus UCF. This was a weird one because it was on so damn early. Georgia Tech wins this one 30-17 over UCF. A big win for a Georgia Tech squad that sort of needed the 7-win season. Again, this battle of the 6s and 6s, which are always pretty much fun bowl games. And this one was like basically a banger. UCF unfortunately decided to just turn themselves off at the half.
This was classic. This is classic Gus Bus.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 drives, touchdown. It's 14-0 UCF. I was like, oh, okay, hold on. They're going to slow down at some point. Georgia Tech figured them out. They only allowed a field goal in the second quarter, and then Georgia Tech just basically dominated the rest of the game. They scored 17 points in the second quarter, and then they got 13 in the second half. UCF was just basically they spent their allotment of points and their offensive scheme. It just seemed like Gus had a great plan, but then like once Georgia Tech figured it out, Gus did not have a plan B, which
that's the Gus.
I remember some Auburn fans. I remember some Auburn fans mentioning something like that. So I see Pitt Girl shaking her head. Yes.
Yeah.
But good for Georgia Tech. This is like one of these is like Georgia Tech. They finally went to a bowls first time since Paul Johnson, and then they win the game. They're 7-6, and it's just like huge momentum. Shout out to Brent Key mentioning that it was Powerade dumped on him to suck up to the Coca-Cola money, because you got that Coca-Cola money in Atlanta.
He knows who pays his checks.
Uh-huh.
That's right. You need some Coca-Cola money for NIL, and give him some Coca-Cola money for that Powerade and all that stuff. Definitely shout out. I do like. I've gotten over the Brent Key, fidgeting with his headset thing.
Yeah,
it still bugs me a lot though. But like he like talks in it, and then he like puts it up, and then he puts it back down, and then back up and down. I'm like, just leave it down, God's sake. But no, I've kind of calmed a little bit on it. Like I'm like, okay, fine, this is what you want to do it. You feel like you're on a walkie-talkie, whatever. Coach Brent Key, do your thing. Let's give it up to the corn correspondent, who is also a Georgia Tech fan.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to add that wasn't already said, but yeah, great win. First bowl win since I think 2018,
something like that. Yeah.
So that, or I think first bowl appearance since 2018. I don't know if they won back then, but yeah. So I am a fan of teams that like to go on droughts, since Nebraska is my other team and they haven't had a bowl appearance since 2016. But yeah, it's good to see that it's coming back. I like the momentum going into the off season. I was a little nervous at first. I was over at a friend's house watching this game and going down 14-0 in the first quarter. I was just like, oh man, is this how the game's going to go? But then they woke up and it became a very exciting time for me.
I did during this game go through the yearbook of 100 years ago of Georgia Tech and found a couple of nice things. The first one I want to mention is that under the biography of Charles Green Fleetwood, the center, quote, "Red is red-headed. Perhaps this accounts for his favorite expression on the field, which is smoke 'em out." Sure. And the other one was Ernest Gordon, who apparently, quote from the yearbook again, he calls himself an Atlanta man, but he really comes from East Point. Apparently people were bitching about what actually constitutes Atlanta back then as well.
Imagine that.
The other dude nicknamed Red on the team, they had two Reds, by the way. Albert Davis, the quarterback, quote, "He is red-headed and therefore good-natured and always on hand with that old grin." Is that a stereotype that redheads are good-natured? I don't know.
I love when you said Ernest.
Mm-hmm.
I just, because I'm old, I just went like Ernest goes to Georgia Tech.
Yep. The last one I want to mention is that same year in 23. I want to talk.
Was Vernon Lindquist?
I want to mention the game Alabama 0, Tech 0. I'm going to read the caption from this game, and y'all can just tell me how you feel about this. This is from the yearbook again. "It was played on a muddy field and in drizzling rain. Tech was tied by Alabama in a 0-0 game. Tech completely outclassed Alabama, however, making 22 first downs to Alabama's none. Still, we were not able to score. On the fourth down, a confused signal cost Tech the game, for she had the ball on Alabama's 1-yard line, and a fumble lost our chance. Alabama carried the ball for a total of 7 yards, averaging 1 yard per play, while the Tornado, which is what Tech was called back then, backs carried the ball for an average of 7 yards per play." And that's how 0-0 went. I'm going to deep dive that one a little more later on because I got to figure out how that game actually worked out. On to Saturday, the 23rd. First up, we had the two dueling Alabama Bowls in a 3 Alabama Bowl game day. I don't know why they felt the need to put every Alabama Bowl game on the same damn day, but we had games in Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile the same day. The first two at the same time were the Birmingham Bowl of Duke and Troy. Duke won 17-10. And the Camellia Bowl, which Northern Illinois won 21-19 over Arkansas State. I do want to talk about that second one first because that was a wild-ass game. I was listening to this one on the radio. And a shit win. Northern Illinois gets 21 points and then just decides to stop. We also get one of my favorite pictures of bowl season, which is Butch Jones losing his goddamn mind at the ref. Because the ref probably cost him the game. But it's a bowl game, Butch. We got to just dial this back.
Oh, no. This was like, they called the offsides. They called the offsides on the onside kick that Arkansas State recovered. So it was 21-19. and this has probably been one of the closest bowl games that we've had, because a lot of these bowl games have just like been just completely out of hand.
Well, Arkansas State had a chance to tie.
Yeah.
They were down 8. They scored the touchdown. They went for 2 and they didn't get it, which is why they had to onside in the first place.
They get the onside kick, and then there's a flag immediately, and then it's like offsides. And you know, I get my soccer humor. It's like, consult VAR. Let's go. Let's do this thing. VAR. Let's draw the offsides lines. Do the little box and let's go. Let's do this thing. I didn't see like a definitive angle of yes or no on offsides. People, Butch Jones, you know, I'm probably a little bit of an Arkansas State hater. I'm biased because they've beaten us 14 years in a row. But it kind of looked like the one that was closest to it was offsides. The only thing is like if he was offsides, that's the player for the other team bobbled it. Like the offsides didn't affect it at all. Like the Northern Illinois player had it in his chest and he bobbled it. And so like the offsides doesn't matter.
He was also offsides by like a toenail.
Though.
Yeah. The thing more about, to me, and also I think it's worth noting that obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend was watching this game with me for whatever reason. He occasionally does this, and was like, I had walked out of the room because I was also wrapping presents and doing whatever else while this game was on. I walk out, I come back, and he's like, "You just missed some bullshit." Like, so.
Well, I mean, honestly, if the player had just lined up there, then maybe he would have gotten away with it. But he was like running forward, so it wasn't. I don't know, like even if he had been slightly offsides, like he was going that way anyway, and he'd gotten kind of a running start, and so like that's, to me, that's not really an area where you're going to get as much benefit of the doubt as if you just lined up and you were right on the line. And you know, at the end of the day, Arkansas State technically still could have gotten the ball back because they had all their timeouts, but then Butch Jones burned a timeout like immediately, didn't wait for them to run a play. I think he just burned the timeout so that he could like spend more time yelling at the refs. And so that was what, you know, I'll like put it completely out of reach, was then they only had 2 timeouts and they couldn't stop the clock again. And Northern Illinois was able to just run it out.
The other game that was like a ton of fun at the same time was the Birmingham Bowl, which Duke won 17-10 over Troy. This game was a banger almost all the way through. I was listening to this one while I was driving. This was like just a morass, basically. It was 14-0 going to the
because of the Birmingham Bowl and the booty.
Because of the I asked for a shot of the booty cheeks from the bowl, and they were like, "There are children on this website, sir.
There are children on this website, sir. They should not be on any children on this website at all."
I think that it is the best bowl, one of the best bowl trophies, because it does have cheeks. More things need cheeks. That's just true. And but yeah, this was like Duke got ahead, let Troy come back, but then put the game away, not comfortably, but what Duke was going to be able to do without a lot of their team. And it was just a fun game. I enjoyed this one.
It was like these 2 Alabama bowls were great. The one that you said, like, you were like dismissed, you know, Northern Illinois and Arkansas State was the most compelling one because they're both random number generators, and Northern Illinois won a game without scoring anything in the second half,
and they were both 6-6.
That's
the fun one.
I mean, it's true. I'm always wrong. We've covered this because every time I think something's going to be ass, it's great. When this is great, it's ass. So I'm always wrong. It's wonderful.
You keep mentioning ass while we're talking about the Birmingham Bowl.
I know.
I love this. Is this intentional or unintentional? It doesn't matter. We're distracted. So, but yes, like I love the fact that there was a thick 6 in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And Troy got it, and he had to duck the shoulder in for the contact, just to get that there. Like, I mean, he could have just walked in.
He could have
and celebrated.
He could have gone in. He could have gone untouched.
Untouched.
But he turned.
No, he was like, "No, let me slow down. let me slow down and just blast this cornerback with my shoulder really quickly, which is great. It was a blast. It was a great game. I mean, Duke interim coach Manny Diaz in the suites watching the Blue Devils, and then Troy had an interim coach. Coach John Summerall tweeted "Go Trojans." So I mean, it felt like it was a weird game. It was fun. They were enjoyable TV. It was just good fun. Just good fun to watch. It was good, relaxing. It's Saturday. Just good football on and close games. What more can you ask for, really?
As we got into the afternoon, we had another pair at 2:30. The first one was the Armed Forces Bowl. This was Air Force versus James Madison. James Madison's first bowl game in school history in their first year. And then the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which was Georgia State and Utah State. We'll go in this order, I guess. Air Force wins it 31-21 over James Madison. This was a very close game throughout. Air Force looked better, way better, but James Madison was also playing down their coaching staff almost entirely and a bunch of players and whatever. Congrats to James Madison for getting to a bowl game. This was going to be gravy no matter what. Salud.
Yeah, Air Force was ready. And I mean, honestly, if James Madison wasn't fully in this game, which they weren't for good reason, because their coach was not there anymore, the triple option is going to get you. Like, you're not going to survive that. Like, you have to play 60 minutes locked in on that. And once Air Force started ripping off like fullback traps up the middle for like 54 yards.
Oh, it was done. I saw that. I was like, oh,
it
God.
It was like James Madison. I'm like, yeah. Once that's happening in the first half, you're just kind of just like, I don't think James Madison has the fortitude for this. Apparently there are a lot of James Madison haters because our replies were just like really talking trash about James Madison. A lot. There was a lot of like, we're tweeting that Air Forces, and I don't know if James Madison lobbying hard to get into a bowl game, but then still getting one after the fact because they were trying to sue the NCAA and just raising a bunch of stink. And then they lost to App State after they got game day, kind of rubbed some of the people the wrong way. Maybe, I don't know, but there was a lot of, I was noticing a lot of hate in the replies and the quote tweets of people laughing at James Madison. I was like, hey, they just wanted to go to a bowl game. You kind of can't control the political people because they're going to grandstand and do stupid shit at all times. But I mean, I'm glad James Madison, their quarterback that played, he was in the portal, but he still played for James Madison. It was a very weird scenario. I'm glad Air Force got back on track. And I feel like the Air Force like just owns the Armed Forces Bowl. Like, this is their bowl. I don't even know how many times they won this bowl game.
This is their second year.
It's two in a row, right?
Last year. Yeah, 2 in a row.
Crazy.
I mean, it's got the right name. You know, it's
and we found out
it's
that
them and
is...
yeah. Well, it's them and Army that end up in this game all the if they're available. I think they're like, yep, give us the Service Academy.
Yeah, I mean,
they
go there in the same way that Navy goes to the Military Bowl when they're available.
Pretty much, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, my question is like, who are James Madison's rivals now? Because like they're new to the Sun Belt, right? Like I know there were some old rivals.
It's App
in
State.
The CAA.
It's App State.
I was gonna say App.
Okay, that makes sense.
We got a lot of App followers, so that probably makes sense. There's a lot of Sun Belt followers. The Sun Belt East, they probably don't like them much. Troy fans probably don't like them much either, with all that taunting they did in that one game earlier too. So
I guess, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's not too much of a history there because there's like a lot of those teams are like, but like they haven't been like in the same conference for a while.
Old Dominion?
Oh, ODU.
Yeah. I could see that one because they're now in the same conference. But again, like ODU doesn't have like that long a history of having, a football program. So
I mean, neither does Georgia State, and State Southern is very much a thing. So no.
But they've been playing each other like the whole time.
Yeah,
I will say, by the way, that I knew this game. Like when I saw that this game was like going to be choked, like Air Force was going to choke the life out of James Madison. This was a drive that started in the third quarter at 3:05. Air Force started, and it ended 9 minutes and 45 seconds later. They went 17 plays, 49 yards, and ended with a field goal. And this was just like grinding James Madison's face into the ground. That was exactly what that one was.
Like, oh, you wanted to win this bowl game, James Madison? You wanted a bowl game so bad? Air Force was like, oh, we'll show you. We'll show you how much you want this bowl game.
I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it again.
A shout out to the bowl season folks that actually follow us, like the folks in bowl season who you met in the Frisco Bowl, right, Jordan?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah. Shout out to them. They actually got with the Armed Forces Bowl representatives, and they gave us a weight of 65 pounds of the trophy for the Armed Forces Bowl.
That's a dense fucking trophy
That
made
is
of like
a
extra
dense
military
trophy.
parts.
Yeah. 65 pounds. So we got that on the list. We got to update that graphic eventually.
It has a secret laser inside.
Then we head to Boise, where the Potato Bowl was played. Our boy Spuddy Buddy was out there. And Georgia State 45, Utah State 22. This is the Georgia State I remember. This is the fucking Georgia State that gives everyone hell. And I'm glad they showed up for another game at the end of the season and absolutely just gave Utah State hell. I have no hate to Utah State, but Georgia State was my baby for a while. And I feel like my baby got beat up about halfway through the season. So for them to come back and win it, I was very happy with them on this one.
Yeah, look, Georgia State had their quarterback Granger. He was on fire. Utah State was incredibly banged up. Their quarterback that Utah State had, Levi Williams, was like leaving school, and this was his last game. He's going to go be a Navy SEAL.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't. And then like the starter for Utah State was hurt, but this was going back and forth for a good bit. And I was like, yeah, let's keep it going. And then Utah State just couldn't keep up. And Georgia State went crazy. And then, the fry dump, which is always amazing. It was Sean Elliott. It was so good. It's always so good.
It was a 35-point first quarter.
It was so awesome.
And then Utah State just could not.
Utah State just like, I can't keep up. It's just, it was, oh man, Georgia State was just on fire. I want to give a shout out to the Big Sky Conference because they kind of put on this bowl.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, they put on this bowl. Shout out to the Big Sky Conference. Also, thank them for sending me a random Christmas gift, which was an incredible amount of crap. But like Big Sky merchandise, I got a Montana Grizzlies flag. I got like Big Sky stickers. I'm gonna send y'all some stuff. They sent me like 8 bags of chocolate, which are like chocolate covered gummy bears, which are very, very weird texture. I'm just gonna say that it's like you bite into the chocolate and it all falls off, and then now you have a gummy bear. It's very weird.
I still have the Montana State Lego bus.
Ooh,
there you go.
I haven't put it together yet, but I got it.
You mean the Montana Lego bus?
Or sorry, Montana. Yeah,
don't get mad. They're gonna be mad at you.
My bad. Go Grizz.
So like they sent so much Big Sky merch. There was like some UC Davis like dog stickers. There were, I mean, like Big Sky they always send us a flag from one of their golf tournaments, like a pin flag. I don't know why they do this, but my son loves it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but they sent so much stuff. So thank you. Shout out to Tyson and the Big Sky Commissioner out there. Just they rock. I don't know why they sent me the stuff, but we love the Big Sky Conference. It's amazing. Got to make another trip to the Big Sky eventually, and I definitely got to get to the Kibby Dome at some point. But I want to kind of do a Wazoo Kibby Dome double if possible.
That's your science fiction double feature, right?
I think we could pull it off.
We could.
Cougs Vandals.
Commish, have you ever watched Rocky Horror?
I feel like I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never sat and watched the whole thing.
Oh, we have an opportunity. Jordan and I are making the same face, listeners.
Yes.
I know like Tim Curry's in it. I know like songs from it. I know Susan Sarandon. I know
Meatloaf's in it too.
Yeah, rest in peace, Meatloaf. I don't think I've seen the full. Like I've seen. This was like one of the movies that was like Pulp Fiction for me for like the longest. Like I've seen like extended clips of both of them, but like I've never sat and saw the full thing. I've seen the full thing of Pulp Fiction. By the way,
that's good. That's good.
But like I've I finally sat through and did that one, which I didn't realize it was that freaking long. But yeah. I don't think I've seen the full Rocky Horror Picture Show.
On the off-season
Off-season
list.
project.
On the off-season
Yeah.
project, yes.
Throw it on the Google Doc.
Let's talk about some games that happened at 6 p.m. on Saturday then. Two very different games, let's say. It was a tale of contrasts. South Alabama 59, Eastern Michigan 10, and Northwestern 14, Utah 7. Let's go Las Vegas Bowl first. Northwestern wins that one in the most rock fight they could have put on ABC. I feel bad for ABC because I know why they put that on there being like, this is our big matchup. It's Big Ten versus Pac-12. And what they got was just two teams absolutely wailing on each other for 60 minutes. It was beautiful. It was great. It was fun. But holy shit, this game.
Well, I mean, you've got a Big Ten team and a West Coast team. And what else do we expect other than the Big Ten West?
That's exactly correct. Now, well, I was like, they're conference mates now. No, Utah's not going to that conference. I'm still having to learn. Sorry. This was just the most, I think Commish posted, like, someone got comp tickets for this and was like, this is going to be a great game. Someone got comp tickets for this. Let's go watch the Las Vegas Bowl. Big lights, big city, and just got 14-7.
So there was somebody in our replies. I don't know if this is accurate or not, which, again, it's internet. They could be lying to us. There was something with associated with the casino. I can't remember which one it was. Is that they were offering comp tickets to their high rollers at one of the casinos to like 20,000 of their guests, offering comp tickets to this, and they said nobody cashed it in.
Whew.
They did not believe in Northwestern. They did not believe in David Braun.
You know, it does suck because you have all these like giant state schools in the Big Ten, and of course you draw the small private school, which is already going to hurt your draw. And then you get Utah, which showed up in droves. Like Utah crowd was there, but Utah just could do nothing this game. This was a morass again. This is a quagmire, and it was beautiful. Because I had this dual screened with South Alabama 59, Eastern Michigan 10 in the 68 Visitors Bowl. And South Alabama just put their foot down on the pedal and wailed on Eastern Michigan. And I'm not being blithe about this because at the very end, some dude in Eastern Michigan took a giant sucker punch to the back of a helmeted head of a South Alabama player while they were singing the school song, which is garbage. All the EMU folks are aghast at it too. None of this like, oh, just EMU players like this. Nah, this was one dude who just went completely off rails. Don't hang this on EMU.
No, it is. I mean, I to be clear, I do not mean to hang this on EMU, but it is weird that EMU guys seem to be fighting because let us never forget the 2019 Quick Lane Bowl in which EMU quarterback Mike Glass punched a ref.
Yeah.
I mean, this is wild to me because it's like, it's one thing like fighting kind of in the heat of the moment of a game, right? Like, I mean, obviously, like I would say don't do that either, but like I get like if the play is like just ended and you've been like blocking someone or whatever, like I get it. Like things get chippy. Like this was, like after the game, right? Like players, the EMU players weren't there. That's the other thing, right? Like this, I don't know what the plan here was, right? Like this dude was just gonna fight all of South Alabama by himself. Like it was, like I mean, in terms of like doing like, messing around and finding out, like, I mean, they did that.
The always the problem of punching a helmeted player as well. Which tells you that this was completely impulsive and not planned out because no one with half a brain goes smart. Like, right.
I mean, it went in alone. It's like, what was your escape route?
Maybe he just really wanted to break his hand and then get his ass kicked.
I don't know. Maybe it felt like I don't know. I mean, look, Eastern Michigan, I feel your pain as a ULM fan. South Alabama dropped 50 plus points on ULM and we barely scored anything either. I understand it. Also, my sister, the Southern Miss alumnus, it feels your pain too because they dropped 50 points on them too. This was that weird, let's drop 50 points South Alabama on you that showed up in the I don't know. South Alabama had a really weird year. People that were hating on Eastern Michigan breaking down the cinder blocks before they enter the field, like do that in every game.
That's their thing, man. Let them do it. Whatever.
That's their thing. That's the factory. And this is like Chris Creighton's calling card. This is something that Chris Creighton has taken Eastern Michigan from like the dumps of the MAC, the dregs of the MAC. And the MAC is like incredibly cyclical. Normally, like, you know, you can float up to get 6-6 in a bowl game. Eastern Michigan, not necessarily the greatest this year. They didn't have a quarterback really much all this year. It was almost like quarterback by committee at some point, and they kind of leaned on defense and special teams. Once that defense was getting shredded, they were kind of doomed. But like, don't hate on the factory and the cinder blocks. And then it's kind of weird that, you know, I love the stat that we had. Like South Alabama was 0.1 mile away from their stadium. And Eastern Michigan was like 1,000 miles away, like 900 some odd miles away from the stadium. It was just, it was, that whole thing was slanted against Eastern Michigan. And that's why I kind of had that one as an advisory. I was like, I kind of felt that South Al was going to come out and get their first bowl win. And when Eastern Michigan does not play San Jose State in the bowl game, they're not going to win the bowl game.
This was, you have to guess, this was South Alabama's first bowl win in school history, which is amazing. But and funnily enough, we had a lot of teams get their first bowl wins. We'll talk about another one in a second. But yeah, I mean, that was great for South Alabama. I did notice that I posted the picture. I was watching this at my parents' place. Like, I got in that night and noticed that the graphic they were using, ESPN was using for South Alabama's logo, was the lowest resolution version of their logo I could possibly find. It looked like something that had been like copied off a website and had the background taken out. It was hilariously bad. So we got to work on that.
Didn't they also use Arkansas's logo for Arkansas State?
They did in the preview for the game. They swapped out. They put a Razorback in there.
Close enough.
We have Arkansas at home.
Right. Exactly. Oh, but we have Red Wolves. Oh no. We have Sam Pittman at home. Oh no, it's Butch Jones. Oh no. I was not up for the Hawaii Bowl because I had driven 10 hours that day. Well, someone tell me what happened here. And besides Tim Beck taking pictures with cheerleaders and then immediately having that picture withdrawn from the record because they realized it was a bad fucking look.
Did I watch this game? Yeah, I totally watched the whole thing.
I did not.
Yeah, I watched it too.
This was the last Hawaii test.
Fell asleep at halftime, I think.
No, I made it to the end.
I did not.
I made it to the end of this one. This one was like Coastal and San Jose State went into half at 7-0, and it was the lowest scoring Hawaii Bowl all time. And there was a picture of like dejected Santa, which was incredible. Dejected Santa. Let me see. It's like, don't be. I think it was like, don't be sad, Santa. I think I tweeted that. Let me see if I can find that picture. It's funny that I can remember what I tweeted, but the points finally started coming in the second half. It was a little bit like Coastal was going to run away. It was 17-0. And then San Jose State made it 17-14. I was really excited. I was like, oh, maybe we're going to come down to it. And then Coastal got a touchdown to kind of seal the game at the end. And they won by 10. So, I mean, congrats to Coastal, Tim Beck. It was a really, 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 I mean, fun game, feisty game. It felt weird the whole time because I was just like, when's Hawaii going to start playing?
Right.
Like I see like Hawaii.
The Hawaii
field,
Bowl without Hawaii seems weird.
It felt weird that there was no Hawaii. It was just like I was just waiting for Hawaii to show up because like San Jose State was playing. And I was like, when's Hawaii going to tag in for Coastal and start playing against San Jose State to make it a Mountain West game? And also, it felt weird because it was on like normal ESPN. I wasn't watching it through like this weird app on my phone. There was not any local Hawaii commercials. All I really got was like dejected Santa.
You didn't get to see people drinking milk on the beach?
Nobody drinking milk on the beach. No spam hamburgers. Spam burgers.
Can we call him Santa?
Santa, yeah. I mean, sad Santa. It was like lowest scoring first half in Hawaii Bowl history, which I don't know. Coastal had these amazing Hawaii shirts. Hawaiian shirts.
I really desperately want one of those because they were great.
And so I'm assuming you're the one that tweeted that one.
Yeah, because as a plus size gentleman, I have been known to rock a Hawaiian shirt every once in a while. I'm out of that phase. I was way more into it back in the day, but I was there, and I feel like as I get into my more dad years, I need to go back to Hawaiian shirts. They were great.
Those were high quality Hawaiian shirts. I would wear one.
Yeah. You could you could get the XL and like tie it up or something to make it
Yes.
not so baggy on you. But yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. I really appreciate that. I'm glad y'all stayed up for it because I had driven 10 hours and I went to sleep. Let's talk about some things we have going on. First off, we have our Discord and Patreon as always for $5 a month. You can join us and yell about games coming up. And in the off season, you can help us brainstorm all sorts of new ideas as well, because literally all of the stuff we put out comes from ideas from either us just spitballing in the room or other people shouting things out at us. It's super useful for us and it makes everyone jump in.
Like the name Sickos Committee is we're truly a committee. Seriously. I think today when we had Pitt Girl at the Military Bowl and she's tweeting on the way to the Military Bowl, then Beth's in Charlotte tweeting, and then Jordan's tweeting about the giant bee statue.
Yeah.
The killer bee statue. And then I'm just like chilling at home tweeting. Everybody's confused. My favorite one was like, oh, whoa, Sickos is a girl? And I was like, look, our name says Sickos Committee. And again, we're not calling stuff sickos. Like, we're calling ourselves the sickos. Mm-hmm. And also, we're a freaking committee. We are a committee. We had Katie at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, like, tasting menu. We have, this is a committee thing. This is not just one of us, even though I'm called the Commish. The committee, like the folks who are in the Patreon with us, like, you generate so much stuff as long as you're just like cool and not being like crazy idiot folks.
It was very funny when I was talking to CFB Campus Tour today, because he was like, so how many of you are there? And I was like, well, it depends on how you count.
There again, we're a committee. Like there's so many people behind the scenes that love doing the spreadsheeting stuff. Like they're just data diving on like coordinates of stadiums, and I don't even know what restaurant we got coming up next. They're doing like so much stuff, and I mean, we debate about the ratings of the bowl games. The off season is when it's going to get absolutely insane, because there's not going to be any football, and our minds are just going to be set free from football, and we're going to go. I'm not
allowed to call it new content though, right? Because if I use the word content, Commish starts cringing.
It feels weird to say that we generate content. I just want to see that we make shit.
Okay,
it's like, because I don't like, we just make shit up, because this is what this whole entire committee thing is I just made this shit up. I started ranking shit, and then everybody, we all started coalescing into a like just random ideas converted into this weird committee thing, and come join it. It's just $5 a month, really. Like that's
you
not
you
much
will get
whatsoever.
$5 a month, $5 worth of entertainment a month. I guarantee.
I guarantee you that. Like, how much do you pay for a movie nowadays? I have not been to the theater in like a year. The last thing I saw in the theater was like the Mario Brothers movie, and I think that was like $14.
Yeah,
I go on $5 Tuesdays, so I still pay $5.
Andrew, by the way, I wanted to mention that I had one of my favorite barbecue things I've ever had this weekend. It was smoked brisket tamales.
Ooh,
and they were absolutely amazing, from Vargas BBQ in Edinburgh, Texas. Really good. So thumbs up to that.
That sounds amazing.
They also had also had a Texas Twinkie tamale. So brisket, bacon, cream cheese, jalapeno in a tamale, which also got good.
So I know how much time it takes to smoke a brisket, and I haven't done it personally, but I know enough people that says how much it sucks to make tamales.
Yeah, it does.
So a brisket tamale is the ultimate labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, in the Patreon too, is we got a channel called Canimals, where we talk about like drinks, like bartending stuff, show your pets, and like food creations. There's a lot of like not necessarily amateur chefs. I know the corn correspondent, Mr. Andrew, is a barbecue judge. Mm-hmm. So like he judged meat, like the Kansas State meat judging team. Shout out to them. But really, like,
they judge it before it's cooked. I judge it after.
You judge it after. That's right. The before and after. We got so many different channels there. I mean, it is just a great place to be, and we just have a lot of fun. We just ask if you want to join. Just don't come in and be a jerk. That's it. Just be cool and hang and chill with us and have a good time.
Other things. We also have our merch store at sickoscommunity.org. We shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. I was just on there and had a great time talking about all things sickos. We also have our YouTube channel, our Instagram, our Substack, and lastly, Home Field Apparel is our partner. Use offer code yes, ha 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 yes. That's 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And we also are going to have some shirt of the week matchups going into basketball season as well. So keep an eye out for that as we get into basketball season. Let's move on to. Okay, so was it weird for you guys to have 2 days without college football at this time of year?
A little bit.
It is a little bit weird when the Hawaii Bowl is not on Christmas Eve.
Right, because traditionally that's a Christmas Eve, at least traditionally as in the last few years. It's a Christmas Eve thing. So the fact that that wasn't there was bizarre. I was watching NFL, which is weird. I don't know, man. I was desperate. We're just sitting around.
Yeah, even my dad was asking me about that, like when the next bowl games were, and I said, not till Tuesday.
Look, I was so desperate for football. I was watching the Browns versus Texans, and I was like, man, Joe Flacco's good.
Good God.
And then I had to explain to my 6-year-old why they were called the Browns, and they did not have a logo on their helmet. I was not happy with this. I was not happy, and I was not happy with the explanation I found online.
Hey, NFL, no father should have to tell his child about the Cleveland Browns before he's ready. No parent should have to have that conversation with their child.
Talk to your kids about the Cleveland Browns.
It was a really weird, especially the Christmas Eve was a Sunday, and the NBA was completely off as well. So like there really was nothing out there, right? Like I was talking to my family and I was like, let's do all of our Christmas stuff. Let's take care of it all on Christmas Eve because I have nothing better to do, nothing better to watch. And that's how
we deal with family. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That's how I planned and organized it. So it was, it was just, there's nothing going on.
So we got through that. We got through Christmas, and then we picked up yesterday with 3 bowl games, 2 of which were really fucking fighty. But we'll start with the Quick Lane Bowl. Minnesota 30, Bowling Green 24.
The Quick Lane Bowl is slowly like winning my heart.
Yeah.
Here, I gotta give a shout out to the Quick Lane Bowl. Like they are leaning into this. Like they know they're in Detroit. They know they're in Ford Field. They know what they are. And I really love this. Shout out to Chicken Sedan. Also, I apologize to our Canadian correspondent, Joey, who is cursed to never make it to this bowl game.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Last year, he tried to drive in like a crazy snowstorm and like wrecked his car. I'm assuming it's the same car because this car broke down and he had it in the shop and could not get a ride to Detroit for this bowl game. So the Canadian correspondent couldn't make it. Shout out to Chicken Sedan. If you see a meme on the Twitter account from I Think You Should Leave, that is definitely Chicken Sedan. Like every single, like I can't even do it, but he is so amazing at using those memes and GIFs from that. He's fantastic. He got to meet Goldie the Gopher in this game, which is great. And shout out to the Quick Lane Bowl. They rock. I mean, the people running the bowl game.
Breaking news. USC has won the Holiday Bowl 42-28 over Louisville.
Louisville out here being fraudulent.
That's
Holiday Bowl.
No, not our joke. Not our joke. Can't do it. Not our joke.
Can I do Mayo Bowl?
But it's true. Like the full cast didn't do it this year.
They said they were going to.
Can I change it up?
Spencer had facts.
Can I change the lyrics and make it to the Alamo Bowl?
Also, breaking news: Texas A&M has scored points.
Ooh,
they have scored a touchdown. They looked like it was like a long one too. Like there's an offense there, kind of maybe.
Okay. Bowling Green gave Minnesota hell and almost took this damn thing. It came down to the end. And that's all you want in this bowl game. Bowling Green, Minnesota have a rivalry now. I'm going to declare it a rivalry, which will piss off Minnesota fans. But man, Bowling Green just is out for blood whenever they play Big Ten teams.
There was one point in the game where Minnesota was just like, okay, we're bigger than them. Let's just run the damn ball.
Yep.
And they just kept doing it.
Do that. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, we got these big linemen, and this is a MAC team that doesn't necessarily have the biggest folks on the defensive line. And but shout out to Bowling Green for fighting the entire game. Also, I don't care about the third string quarterback and the fiance that they kept panning to.
Yeah.
In the game, like I didn't just okay. He came back for one last game, so he couldn't plan a wedding with his fiance. So his fiance had to step up in the wedding planning, and you did not need to give her the Catherine Webb treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a little bit too much there.
Okay.
So you could chill a little bit on that. But
yeah, how about we stop with the Catherine Webb treatment? It's actually kind of creepy. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I did want to shout out to Connor Onion, the commentator who actually shouted out the Sickos Committee in the bowl game, which is weird when we get shout outs on ESPN. I'm sure all of our Sickos Committee's haters. Do we have a name for the Sicko Committee haters? Can we
No, they're my best friends.
You love them.
Some Purdue fan, after I posted the Kansas win last night, was like, lol, 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 so sickos, a bunch of emojis, lol, lol, lol. And I retweeted it with heart eye emoji, and I liked it. It was great.
By the way, he deleted the tweet.
Oh, coward. You fucking coward. Lean into it.
You shamed him.
No,
they ratioed the crap out of him. So shout out to the committee members that follow us. It's like,
fuck it. No,
bevel this. I'm like, we bevel every bowl winner, for God's sakes.
No, it's great, man.
I feel like with college football naming conventions, right? Like we called it the College Football Playoff. Like the Sickos Committee haters is what they're called.
No,
I thought we just called them Friends of Jordan.
Friends of Jordan. Fuck yeah. I love them.
Jordan.
I love them. They're all right.
That's too creative.
They're all right. We suck. It's fine. Like, whatever.
It's weird. I feel like my 90s rap persona that I grew up, like, I never understood how the rappers would always talk about the haters.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I was just like, okay, I completely understand you. Puff Daddy, I understand why you had all these haters. Master P.
You and Drake understand it right now. Yep, you and Drake. You're moody and you're talking about people who don't like you.
That's right. I mean, whatever I can do.
I do think that Bowling Green needs to have permanent rivalries with the Big Ten now, and just take them down every year.
Look, Bowling Green. Sorry, Air Force. Bowling Green is my favorite Falcon. I'm a Saints fan. I am a Saints fan, and if I love a Falcon, it is very tough to do this.
It's Atlanta.
Air Force, I have a shirt. I cannot stand the Falcons. I hate all Falcons. It's just like, not liking any Spurs.
What about Super Falcons?
I do love that. Is that Nigeria? Yeah. Is that Nigeria?
Nigeria is great.
Nigeria national soccer team.
Hey, Nigeria's got green, so we're good there.
There we go. Back to green.
Yeah, I mean, you got the green flag. It's like green, white, green. Perfect. That's all Commish as I look at my green headphones.
Bowling Green has the chance to knock off Penn State next year in the regular season.
Bowling Green has green in the name. Now I just realized this.
There we go.
I have just gone full laser eyes. Thank you for that.
No, I love Bowling Green. They turn the ball over a lot. They fight. They're just a lot of fun. They're a fantastic MAC team. They're a great watch. They never let me down. They're a fantastic MAC team. Shout out to Bowling Green. It sucks that you had to lose 2 1-possession quick lane bowls.
Yeah.
Next year, can you get into a bowl game that I want you to win? I don't care. I want Bowling Green to win a bowl game next year.
And congrats to Minnesota, who got to a bowl game based on good grades and won the damn thing. People kept asking.
Good job, nerd.
People kept asking it, like, do 5 and 7 teams get in? Or sorry, 5 and 6. Or God, you know what I mean. 5 and 7 teams get into bowls, and like, yeah, it happens not super often, but it does, and they tend to win more often than not because they usually get drawn against, again, like a MAC team that they can just bully sometimes. It doesn't always happen, but it's happened in the past.
Yeah, well, a lot of times the teams that have really good APR scores are also the teams that tend to have a lot of resources to put into their programs that help their players get good grades. And so that tends to be teams that went 5-7, but might have some advantages over some, teams in some group of 5 conferences.
Next game, the First Responder Bowl at not that Gerald Ford Stadium at SMU. Texas State 45, Rice 21. Texas State wins their first bowl game in school history and their first attempt. Woo! And this was a
1 out of 1.
This was a fighty fucking game. I didn't know Rice and Texas State had beef, but man, they tried to. And
seriously, I want every single bowl game that takes place in Texas has to take place between just Texas teams.
It's great. And
it's nuts.
And the best part about this one was we had a bowl game run out of beer because SMU Stadium, I think, got the normal amount and didn't assume the entirety of San Marcos would be showing up because it looked like it was fucking hopping. That stadium was crazy. So the SMU side was out of beer first. Then they went to the Rice side and drank them dry like locusts.
The Texas State side, like I think one section, like Reddit CFB was there. You would have been at this game if you weren't down with your. I think you went to this game last year.
No, I've never been because I'm always traveling during this stupid game because it's always the day after Christmas.
So like this one was nuts, and so the Texas State fans that I knew that let us in Suite 11 for this one, they went up to the game and like they were. Like Texas State is the party school in Texas. Like if you want to go to a party and you want to go have a good time in college, not really give a crap about grades or whatever, you just there to party. Texas State is the school for you. And they really never had much to, I don't think they did much in the FCS timeframe. They were good, but like they didn't necessarily like go deep in the playoffs or anything.
They were winning D2 championships back in the day. They've won D2 championships.
But long time ago. But they are. I think I went to one game that ULM was like 1-11, and they had just fired their coach, and they were like 2-10 or like 2-9 or something, and it was a Thursday night game, and I go park in the parking lot. The parking lot is packed, like the tailgate is just packed, and then I go in the stadium. There's nobody in the stadium, and so I'm like, this is Texas State for real. And those folks finally had a chance to like celebrate, and they went nuts. And more power to them.
It was an absolute blast of a game, and it said Rice gave it a good fight in the first half, and then they just ran out of steam. GJ Kinney was pulling out all the stops and just ran over them. Texas State, I am really excited about. I had trouble in this team because both of these teams, if you've heard me on this podcast this season, I love both of these teams. I have a lot of love for both of these teams, and to have them play each other was exciting. I knew someone was going to have to win. I assumed Texas State was going to be that team. I will say shout out to the mob. The mob the marching owl band got to go to this game. They did a tribute to the Pac-2 during halftime, which was great. And a bunch of other stuff. They're always a great thorn in the side of teams. The Texas State band, by the way, is amazing. Their music department is very good and puts out a lot of great music teachers. So I got to shout them out as well. Their band is great. It sounded fun. Whatever. This was a great game. I'm glad that the tailgate scene was crazy on the boulevard at SMU. Perfect game. Great location. Loved this. And then a lot of y'all went to sleep on this one. Kansas 49, UNLV 36. Let's talk about this. This game, Kansas had 216 yards of penalties.
That's so many.
216. And let's talk about my trip that evening, because I was sitting on my parents' couch. Everyone had gone to sleep. And Reddit CFB posted that the record for penalties was 199 yards. And they were going to break it. And I went, that doesn't sound right. Let me double check. So I find the NCAA record book, and it says that Arizona State had 238 penalty yards in a game against San Jose State, I believe, back in like the 70s or whatever. But then I posted that, and someone responded, no, that's wrong. the game was scored incorrect. The penalties were marked incorrectly, and the NCAA has never fixed it. And he provided me a newspaper article that told me so. Because it was 13 penalties for 238 yards. And if you think about that, there's no way it happens. 13, you can't go 13 for 238. So it was 13 for
Yeah,
one.
that math doesn't.
So it was 13 for 138. So the NCAA record book has been wrong this whole time. And so all of a sudden, it's like 11 o'clock at night. Their penalty numbers are getting higher. I'm trying to figure out, are they going to cross a threshold of like record books? And the broadcast isn't mentioning it. So I think they didn't have an answer either. The thing the closest I can find, and someone gave me an article for, was that Houston managed a game with, I believe, like 230 yards of penalties against Arizona State and won it back in the 90s. But I also couldn't find a bowl record either. But the closest thing I could think of is, I know the Miami Cotton Bowl from 91. They had 202 yards of penalties in that game. So when they crossed the 202 penalty mark, I put a big celebratory post up because that was the only threshold I could think of to celebrate. But I spent hours that night during the game trying to figure out like what happened. If you guys look at the box score I dropped in, both teams had 22 first downs. It doesn't say it here, but like half of UNLV's were because of Kansas penalties. It was
take them any way you can get them.
Kansas had 591 yards of offense and still almost lost. Like, this game was still 49-36 because they gave them 2 football fields of penalties. Kansas also turned the ball over 3 times. It was an insane fucking game, guys. This game was off bonkers because there was one UNLV drive where 3/4 of the yards were penalty yards because of the Kansas defense. There were 8 or 9 personal fouls, might have been more. It was crazy. This is a Kansas team that has not been penalized like this all season. This is not a bad boy team. This isn't Miami with, excessive celebrations at the Cotton Bowl, like guns up running out the stadium. This is just Kansas. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the penalties, I have an idea, right? You know how sometimes in like wrestling or boxing or something, you'll have like a unification thing where you're trying to get like things lined. So we need a team to step up and get 240 penalty yards in a game. Someone's got to do it. I'm nominating you, Florida State, in the Orange Bowl. I think that would be a good use of your time. Mm-hmm. But just someone's got to step up. We got to fix this right now.
Well, also, by the way, UNLV also had 100 yards of penalties themselves. So this was just like nothing about this game was normal.
I have a tweet on this one. It says, so in case anybody didn't know, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which is spiritually the home of the original Cheez-It Bowl, mm-hmm. between UNLV and Kansas had 315 yards in penalties called between both teams, with 216 yards called on Kansas alone. The yardage total was just 2 yards shy of the total combined penalties record. So close. So close. I really wish that the ref for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl was the exasperated ref we had
at the Texas State
Texas State Rice game.
That dude was like
exasperated. That old man ref was so fed the fuck up in that game.
It's all okay. That dude like, and that dude, fuck it, I don't care.
I hate. Oh god, like he hated life so much. Calling that game, he was so fed up.
But also,
he's like, "Why the hell am I reffing
so
this
at
game?"
the First Responder Bowl, they lost communications. The coaches did. So all that fancy new tech, no headsets.
No headsets.
And then at the Guaranteed
Rate, never got them back either.
Nope. And then
you would think it would just be down for a little bit. No, first responders. No first responder headsets.
And then for the first half of the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, they didn't have a ref with a mic. So all these penalties are racking up, and they're having to signal them and hope that the folks in the booth are having to interpret it. And people were giving them a lot of shit about this, but like, guys, on the fly, it's hard to catch these things anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it led to one of your greatest tweets of that night too. It said 15 yards for Deez.
Oh yes,
It's just like, you had the ref signaling down.
for a chop block.
15 yards for Deez nuts.
Uh huh.
Chop
Anyways,
blocks.
this pair of games was fucking great. It was fighty. It was weird. There were penalties like crazy. Texas State wins their first bowl game ever. Kansas won their first bowl game since 2008, I think, 2009. It's great. UNLV has one of the best seasons of all time for their program. Rice has a back-to-back bowl game season I think, for their third time, I think, in 100 years. 4 teams that are just really doing great. Love it. It was a great day. We talked about the Military Bowl, and we talked a little about the Mayo Bowl already. I just want to add that the Mayo dump was amazing. It was beautiful. It cascaded.
What was the West Virginia radio call that Beth got for that one? It says like Neil Brown is sitting in the chair like he's about to be executed. Like he's preparing for, because he had his quarter zip, whatever, like zipped up around his neck, and he was like just hunched over, just like, I don't want the Mayo to get inside the quarter zip to the layers below, which was incredible.
It's going to be
so great.
A lot of our followers were complaining about the hat, that we should ban hats from the Mayo dump. But then you wouldn't get that beautiful spread. Like, part of the fun
I do love the halo.
Yeah,
at least Neil Brown didn't do like the noggin boss thing like Mike Loxley did.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. And then they need the hat just in case the dump hit Shane Beamer, the original dump.
Right.
So we had 3 dumpers. We've had 3 dumpers. And then people were complaining in the mentions that the Mayo was watered down. I'm like, yes, it has to be watered down. Otherwise,
but imagine picking it up and flipping it over.
Have you tried to pour Mayo out of a jar?
Yeah.
It comes out as a glump.
like a big
idea here. We have the Dairy Queen. We have the Dairy Queen bowl. But when they turn the thing over your head, it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
DQ. That's what I like about bowl season.
I forgot to mention this earlier. Shout out to the kid who was like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 11, who was sitting in front of me at the Military Bowl wearing a VT noggin boss the entire game.
Love it.
See, I kind of like the noggin boss ones because it just really dates it. Like, oh, this is the year this happened, when you go back and see the commercials or the replays, whatever. I just want to add one thing I also forgot to mention about the Military Bowl. I like that we had, like, I think the Military Bowl, I don't know if it was the first time, because I think there was a bank that sponsored it at one point, but no military sponsor, but the game did have drones. So we still had the military industrial complex represented.
Wait, I thought they weren't allowed to have drones. Did it have no drones outside the stadium?
Well, that's why people were taking pictures of the no drone sign.
I like that. That's cute.
That's why that was noteworthy.
That's cute. And we also said Louisville lost to USC tonight, and Texas A&M is currently behind to Oklahoma State with how much time left, folks?
13-10 and ticking.
Okay, there we go.
So do we want to talk about the eggnog?
So did they dump eggnog? I didn't see the video.
I can't find it.
I'd have to go online.
They were going to dump eggnog. I am still searching.
Where's the eggnog?
Okay, there it is.
Okay, I see it.
I got it.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's not DirecTV. Like, dump.
I voted for mini tacos.
There's got to be
It's
better
like in
things
slow
for
motion.
There's got to be better things for San Diego.
Oh.
What?
No, it won the poll. Like, they put 4
know.
options, and we really pushed for eggnog out of those 4 options.
I do like that they called it the noggining.
Okay, that's cute. But, like, it's DirecTV. Like, dump broken satellite dishes out. I don't know. Do something.
Dump fees on them.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, burn! Got you, DirecTV. Fucking got you.
I look.
They don't sponsor us.
I love it. It's sponsored.
And now they'll never will.
They will. They follow us on Twitter. We're good. We're good with them. We're cool.
The other fun things, like Beth said, they also at the Mayo Bowl had like a Mayo eggnog recipe. I need to get the mayo nachos recipe because Matt Berry and Dan Mullins were calling this game, and even Matt Berry was like, "I'm not doing this." Like, just flat out refused.
Matt Berry's like, "I'm out. I'm done."
I assume the recipe is just take nachos and put mayo on
it. It looked like a lote because it had like little cotija cheese on top and some cilantro. So
elote nachos would be good.
Yeah.
They had a garlic habanero mayo, and I was like, "Dude, I gotta get some of that shit."
My grocery store only has the plain Duke's Mayo.
I will say
I got the avocado oil, but you have to order from dukesmayo.com, I think.
Harry Lyles Jr., who's one of my favorite sideline reporters, he did the best thing was after Neil Brown got the mayo dumped on him, he was interviewing him, and then Harry gets some fries, wipes mayo off Neil Brown, and eats the fries. And just in one motion, it was so good.
Dude, look, when Neil Brown said, "Hey, do you think Harry Lyles needs a hug?" I was like, "Neil, hug him, hug him, Neil." Yep. But Neil didn't do it.
Coward.
So shout out to Neil for not doing that because that'd have been great. But again, hey, Neil decided to do $10,000, which they give to charity for this mayo dump. The Mayo Bowl donated $10,000 to the food bank in Morgantown, which is great. And I'm like, Mayo Sickos Committee, we're doing food drives. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Because I mean, let's do it. I mean, it's for a great cause. I would get dumped with mayo. Let's do it.
Oh, let's put that out there. I don't know that we can get that much mayo, but we can make at least some of that happen.
I mean, the commission
would like one jar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if next year, if we go, whoever's the Sickos national champions, which I don't know why I feel like Iowa's going to three-peat, but
what about like a mayo dunk tank?
Ooh.
No, we talked about that with the mayo.
We need a lot of mayo.
No.
That would be a lot of mayo.
No. We talked about that with the Miller that works with the Mayo Bowl. He says that the smell is kind of too much.
Oh, I believe it.
I forgot about
the smell is too much.
I will say Neil Brown, I think, was the least enthusiastic coach yet. I think 3 coaches have done this, right? We've had Shane Beamer, Mike Loxley, and Neil Brown. And I feel like Neil Brown was like the least enthusiastic about the Mayo. Like he was very much he was very much like the whole time like, well, I guess I got to do this, and it's for a good cause. Like, he was not excited.
Dude, last year's Duke's Mayo Bowl, if I remember correctly, both teams were basically playing to lose that game. I remember it being basically 2 teams desperately trying to not get dunked in mayo.
I don't know that anybody wants to be the Mayo donkey. I think we all want to watch the Mayo get dunked.
Can you imagine Mac's skin after a mayo bath though? It'd be so smooth and so soft. Oh, did you see the things I was posting from the Potato Bowl's webpage about their potato their potato face masks and everything? They have a whole beauty.
No, I missed them.
Okay, I'll pull them up for you guys later on. But they have a whole potato beauty regimen that we're going to try this offseason as well. Okay. We don't have a ton of time, but I do want to preview some games going forward just to talk about them a little bit. Tomorrow we've got Fenway Bowl, which is Boston College SMU. Pinstripe.
Reminder that that's a conference game next year.
Oh, fuck. Woo. God. It's also on at 10 a.m. Although you won't know this. Okay, never mind. Well, let's not preview these games because this isn't coming out till after that game's coming out. So, anyways, that's 10 a.m. Central tomorrow. Then we have the Pinstripe Bowl. Grish will be there. That's Miami versus Rutgers. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is going to be Katie will be there, and Melanie, her friend. That's Kansas State and NC State. And then the Alamo Bowl, which Commish will hopefully be at if no one dies at his house anymore. If we can get what's the thing they do for Passover? It's lamb's blood over the door. Is that what we need to do?
Something, man. I mean, I don't know. I've been kind of like whatever's going on this year. Like, just lift the curse from Commish's house, please.
2024, baby. We're back in 2024.
Yeah, this year is almost over, Commish. It'll get better
I'm
soon.
planning on being at the Alamo Bowl. I have a Sickos Committee dad hat. They've given me credentials for this. They're giving me a parking pass. I'm like, let's go. I'm excited for this. I am planning on being there. I missed the Frisco Bowl with food poisoning. It's gonna be tomorrow, and I'm just like less than 24 hours away, and I'm like, please just let me go. I want to go. I want to make it happen. The wife went down with COVID for like a little bit before Christmas. Oh. So I am just Like we are basically just isolating inside the house. So I've been dealing with 2 kids by myself for these past few days, trying to tweet through this, and I am just begging to make this. So if you see tweets from the Alamo Bowl, Commish made it. Commish has been isolating, wearing masks inside the house, ventilating the windows, just trying to do this. Commish hopes he makes it. It's like, for real. I'm like, please just let me go. I'm excited. It's gonna feel weird because like what Beth got, I'm going to see 2 ranked teams.
Yeah.
Like ranked like 10 and 14.
Mhm.
But I remember the days of the fish tank. I remember the days of Arizona and the fish tank losing to NAU, the Lumberjacks. I remember that. So to see them get to this point of an Alamo Bowl, which is kind of huge for them. And then like Oklahoma had a really down year last year, and they kind of got screwed out of a New Year's Six Bowl. But the Alamo Bowl is I kind of feel like they need to throw it into the New Year's Six.
No, don't mess with it.
Don't mess with it?
Because remember, this is what happened. So if you remember, this is what the Cotton Bowl used to be. Because remember, the Cotton Bowl wasn't in the BCS Bowl. And so it always had a very banger matchup. Because it always included like the best of the rest of Big 12 and SEC. And then when it got in, because then you get tie-ins and you have to get locked into certain things.
You got like the weird matchups like Memphis versus Penn State or something.
Right. So the Alamo Bowl being outside that can just pick a fun Big 12 team and a fun Pac-12 team or whatever it's going to be in the future. Pick a Big Sky team. I don't fucking know. But like this.
Let's go Idaho State.
Oh, Idaho State would absolutely just... Idaho State
Orange.
fans in fucking San Antonio would destroy that city. Jesus Christ.
Pocatello would just marriage.
Yeah.
Or just normal Idaho fans. Like the entire city of Moscow would be down here.
So yeah, Commish, I hope you get there. God bless. Survive it.
I'm praying y'all send good vibes. And if you see tweets from the Alamo Bowl tomorrow night on the 28th, I made it. And I'm just hoping, please, Lord, let me make it.
There you go. Other games coming up. On Friday, we have the Gator Bowl, which is Clemson, Kentucky. The Sun Bowl, which is Notre Dame, Oregon State. A sold-out Sun Bowl. They have sold that shit out, which is amazing. And a bunch of people, well, let's see if all those people in the stands. If you're... Nothing annoys me more than folks in the timeline being like, look at all those empty seats at this bowl game. You know what? Like,
get the fuck out of
guys,
here.
Chill out. Bowl games
seriously, like when somebody's like, "There's nobody at the game," and I'm like, "I don't give a shit."
It's Tuesday.
Like, I don't know. No. Like when somebody says like empty seat picks or whatever, I'm just like, we don't care. We're watching the game no matter what. Like, not everybody is like a sicko like ourselves. Like, they're not. We're not the mainstream people. Like, we don't go to all these games. We try. We would love to join our Patreon and help us. Again, we would love to go to these games. We would love to be at these random Tuesday bowl games in Shreveport or
I was
Frisco.
I was fucking there, and I was at those. Be more
Again,
specific.
We would love to be at these games.
We would love to be at all of them.
Yes,
all of them. Every
we would
single
love
game.
to be at the Hawaii Bowl.
Yes.
Send us to the Hawaii Bowl.
Send us to the Hawaii Bowl, please.
Send us to the Hawaii Bowl. Easy post. Ship us there. But that's all we can afford.
How many stamps, Commish?
How many?
I'm a lot. Hey, if it fits,
oh wait,
it
we are
ships.
not body shaming here.
If it fits, it ships.
Jordan, you get sent back because you're too thick.
Yeah.
But
I can't be sorted. I have to be manually
I
sorted.
don't care. Like somebody's like in our replies, I'm like, do you understand where you are? You are with the Sickos Committee and you're replying to us about empty seats. We don't give a fuck. Yeah. We're watching the game no matter what. We don't care. We don't care about empty seat picks. We like the account. It's great. But like for NFL games, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But for college football games,
rip on NFL all you want, guys.
Rip on the NFL games. It's great. Whatever.
Well, and also like the economics behind, especially these bowl games, like they're TV properties.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
Like these games will be profitable with no one in the stands. I mean, and like we actually do have evidence of that from COVID, but the whole point of these midweek games is so like because people are watching during the day when they should be working, right? Or maybe you have it off. I don't know. But like in between Christmas and New Year's, right? Like it's something to have on.
Anyway, Sun Bowl sold out. It's great. I'm super excited for that. The Liberty Bowl is Iowa State versus Memphis. Memphis gets a home game for that one. This one should be like sneaky fun. I'm really excited for the Liberty Bowl because it's always a chaos game. And then
the hotter the hot, the colder the cold.
And then a Cotton Bowl that's I think I'm priced out of. I'll double check for tickets as we get closer because I'll try to go to it if it gets cheaper.
Dude.
But like Mizzou
is hyped to be here. And shout out to Mizzou because again, we love to see like the teams that are Sickos favorites. Like they make the Sickos rankings and then they get out of it and they go and they're actually like ranked and good. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Mizzou for this. I feel like Ohio State doesn't give a crap about any of this game whatsoever.
Like half their team is in the portal right now too.
I mean, half is in the portal. The Honda McCord went to Syracuse. Go to Syracuse. I need to get the fuck to Syracuse to see a game. I need to go to Syracuse. I need to go.
I'll meet you there. It's only 3 hours.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. I'll fly into Pittsburgh and drive to Syracuse or whatever, or Buffalo, whatever.
Don't drive to Syracuse from Pittsburgh. That is a long drive.
Whatever. That's the long route. I think I'll fly to Buffalo, whatever, or fly to Albany and drive across the entire upstate New York. But whatever. No, I
don't do that either.
I don't think Ohio State cares about this game. I don't think they do, but Mizzou does, and
Mizzou
that's fun.
Mizzou very much cares about this game.
No, you know what's funny? It's like I love bowl games and bowl season for this. Like Ohio State, not motivated whatsoever. Mizzou, very motivated. When the ball is kicked, let's see what the fuck happens.
The ball is kicked. Now, okay.
The ball
Saturday,
is kicked.
December 30th is the Peach Bowl. Ole Miss versus Penn State. The Music City Bowl. Auburn versus Maryland. Oh, God, that one.
That's starting off Commish's dad's birthday, right? And Auburn versus Maryland.
That is on God's own ABC too. That's not
on ESPN. Happy birthday, Dad! I got you the Music City Bowl.
The Peach Bowl is on ESPN. The Music City Bowl is on ABC.
The thing that's weird to me is that the Peach Bowl is at 11.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is the Peach Bowl at nooner?
Ole Miss is.
I don't know. Does Atlanta not feel like a noon city to you?
No,
it doesn't.
Peach Bowl was a night game.
You know what's funny? Peach Bowl used to be like that game that was right before New Year's.
Yeah.
It was like that last game that led up to New Year's before all the New Year's Six and stuff happened. But I want to give a shout out to Lane Kiffin because he's going to be drinking peach mimosas before the game.
Bellini.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Bellinis.
Peach Bellini mimosas for Lane Kiffin. Him and drinking up all the transfers in the transfer portal.
Hey, Pitt Girl, do you want to guess anything about Auburn and Maryland? Do you have any premonitions?
It's going to be so fucking stupid.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's going to be
I'm excited for that.
So stupid. And I have watched very little Auburn football this season because, as you know, I have sworn off Auburn, except for the Iron Bowl, which was incredibly, amazingly stupid in the best way. This is going to be stupid in the bad way.
Yep. And then at 3 p.m., the Orange Bowl, Florida State versus Georgia. Florida State has lost everyone. Georgia has lost a bunch of people too. Neither of them want to really be here. This one could get just it could be a blowout, but I don't know what direction. I don't know, man.
I would be surprised if it were a blowout in the non-Georgia direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of like I know we say all football is good football, but like if like literally none of the players actually want to play a game, like that might be where I draw. Like if the players are like, oh, we don't want to play, that might be where I'm like, okay, like maybe not this one. I have an official recommendation for this though. Don't watch this game on TV. Listen to the Florida State radio broadcast. Because
winner.
Those guys get aggrieved. They take it personally when there's like a holding call. And this will be like the first game since FSU got left out of the playoffs. So I have no idea what they're going to be on.
Where are you listening to that, Arthur?
That's on you can get it on the Varsity app
Perfect.
on your phone.
There you go.
Which is where I have been listening to a lot of games this bowl season.
Mm-hmm.
Get that plug in.
Same.
You're welcome, Hartzell.
There we go. And then we also have the Arizona Bowl, Toledo versus Wyoming on the CW.
Regularly scheduled reminder, though, to mute this one and listen to it streaming on the Varsity Sports app.
Yep, find the radio calls on these. That's going to be your better choice for this game.
I feel like I just want there to be. I want there to be so much yellow in this game.
Oh yeah, I hope
just give me all the fucking yellow.
Yellow and brown. Just so much yellow and brown.
Yellow and brown. I want like there's gonna be blue and yellow, navy blue and yellow, and there's gonna be yellow and brown. I just want Toledo to come out and all yellow, and Wyoming have yellow pants and white. I don't know who's home or away, but just give me all the freaking yellow. Mm-hmm. And just so much yellow. I want so much yellow on the screen that your eyes hurt to watch this one, and you have to put on those blue light glasses.
Yeah,
so you can watch the yellow screen, and then
Alexa,
listen to it.
Play Coldplay.
That's right.
And then on New Year's Day,
all yellow.
We do not have...
Point of order.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no nightcap on Saturday.
There's not.
Why no nightcap?
Because
that's weird because it's not like it's New Year's Eve. Like this is December 30th.
No, but,
so
but
you'd think like
New Year's Eve they always have nightcaps.
Saturday night.
We've celebrated New Year's watching football games a bunch lately.
Yeah, I got to watch Georgia miss a kick at the stroke of midnight last year.
I remember that.
That was Ohio State.
I'm sorry. Yes, in the Georgia game.
Yeah.
Those were a lot of fun TikTok videos that came on the Twitter timeline. That was a lot of fun.
Is there like a big NFL game or something? Because I don't understand why there's no night game. The Peach Bowl could be like a 5:30 or 6 o'clock game, and it's not. And I don't understand why.
The college football world has ceded everything to the NFL, and I'm just like, you didn't even try. You just gave it up.
I got you. It is Lions Cowboys.
Oh.
It's Lions Cowboys. That's what it is. And then New Year's Eve this year is entirely NFL, but fine, whatever, because that means we get the best thing.
Well, that's also a Sunday though, so that's
right.
I get fair.
Well, we get the amazing thing.
And actually, one thing I want to add too, right, real quick on that Saturday night is that yes, there might not be any college football. But the Detroit Pistons are playing at 6 o'clock Eastern against the Raptors. So if you have League Pass, like me, you're covered.
Okay, can I do a quick apology? Because on the timeline, I noticed someone posted that the Pistons were up going into the fourth against the Nets, and all I did was this was
in the fourth.
Yep,
like it was like 7 minutes left. They were up by 4.
I screen capped it and I put a little eyeball emoji. And the minute I did it, the wheels came off the Piston truck. And
no, they went on a scoring drought right away.
Yeah, it was great.
Like 4 minutes as soon as you posted.
Jordan, you should know better by now.
You gotta know better. Like you jinx things, and it's just like I'm yelling at them inside the Discord, like, why? Why did you do this?
And then,
but okay, they set the record. Let's just let them.
And then I posted my. I posted the to be mean to myself. I posted the goose emoji, the angry goose emoji of.
We got a lot of likes for
what was the final score, Jordan? What was the fucking final score, Jordan?
Us yelling at you. It's great.
No, I mean honestly, the one thing I gotta say though, Pistons, they have now the single season record, but they still have to set the record across multiple because there's I think it's 28 games is the record across multiple seasons. So they still have a few more losses to go to be like totally alone in the record books. I think though, since I've been watching these bowl games, the next game the Pistons win, they should dump Wingstop on their head coach Monty Williams because Wingstop has the promo every time the Pistons win in like Detroit area Wingstops, you can get 5 free boneless wings the next day. Well, you know,
so nobody's gotten any.
So many hungry fans.
You know what's funny?
It's funny. Like they have to promote this like as a deal. Like whoa, like big deal.
Look. Hey, the Pistons play the Celtics tomorrow night before this podcast comes out. The Celtics are 23-6. It's in Boston. The Pistons are 2-28.
You're telling me the Pistons have the opportunity to do the funniest thing of all time?
They have the opportunity to do the funniest thing of all time is to beat the Celtics in Boston. It's in Boston. Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in Boston, and it'll be on NBA TV. So if you have that in you might not need League Pass. You might be able to get that on your cable.
This would be the funniest thing ever. I'm almost willing to call this for the Pistons to beat the Celtics in Boston, and just the ultimate Boston Celtic fan explosion once the Pistons win this game. It would be so good. If this
happens, I'm not in Detroit, so I won't get free Wingstop. Like, I'll just go get Wingstop.
I'll get Wingstop too if it happens. So if they do it,
I'll do it too.
Done.
And then
there is no Wingstop near me. Also, beep beep breaking news: Texas A&M has just doinked a 51-yard field goal in.
Ooh, what's the score?
So,
what's the score?
23-31. 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So keep an eye on it.
Well,
2 days later, listeners.
We're gonna do our usual thing.
One possession game.
We're gonna do our usual thing, and then basically go like on January 1st. There are some bowl games. I guess people are interested in. There's the ReliQuest Bowl, LSU, Wisconsin, the Citrus Bowl, which should be fun. Iowa versus Tennessee without Joe Milton.
No,
the Tennessee fans are hyped that the young quarterback is starting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the young quarterback to be like, hey, go against Iowa's defense.
Yeah, enjoy going into that fucking
have fun in Orlando.
Wood chipper.
I don't know who's gonna win this game. I really rooting for Iowa to win this game.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Just because I want the Ferentz embrace, the father-son Ferentz embrace, the emotional Cheez-It Citrus Bowl Ferentz embrace, and I want that. And let's raise more money for the Ferentzes.
The Tennessee message board meltdown. Also.
Oh god, it would be so good. They were so mad when they drew Iowa in this game.
And then, of course, we have the Fiesta Bowl, which is Liberty and Oregon. And then the two is that how you pronounce it? Semifinal games? I don't know. There's the Rose Bowl, which is Alabama and Michigan.
Oh, I don't know. I think we're out of time.
Oh, you're right. Time? Yep, done.
The Rose Bowl and the Sugar Dome.
And the Sugar Dome, folks.
The Sugar Dome.
I don't think we're recording on New Year's Eve.
No, we are not recording on New Year's Eve. So we will be back on January 2nd, tentatively.
Yep.
We may be back on a normal schedule for that.
Yeah.
We may. I believe on the 2nd we're gonna have Catherine, our resident normie football reporter, to preview the national championship game, which may or may not matter too much. And we're going to go over the bowl games that we just talked about. So, again, donate. Great cause. Donate. We're going to talk about the Mayo Bowl more again because it was amazing. And Beth will be home. And thank you again so much for being something. I'm looking for something funny to say, but I need somebody to set me up.
Hey, Commish, what do you feel about Deez bowl games?